Hey, what's up? So, today I'm coming at you live from my humble abode. But, thought we'd talk about addiction. Because, you know, everyone's stuck on blaming drugs for their bad behavior. Which, it's kind of comical to me because this is my theory. If you're a piece of shit before you start doing drugs, you're going to be a piece of shit after you start using drugs. And if you're a good person before you start using drugs, you're probably going to be a good person while you're using drugs. Fucking what drives people to use anyway in the first place, right? Like, you know, when you're sick or you're hurt, you go to the doctor because you're in pain, right? Or when, like, whether it's mental or physical, mental pain in my mind is a lot fucking worse than physical pain. I'll take an ass kicking every day of the week over some of the fucked up shit people do to fuck with your head. Because those scars aren't seen and they last a lot longer. So we go to the doctor, we get prescribed some meds, right? To make us feel better so that we can rest and heal. And then what happens when we get cut off those? Then not only fucking does your original pain come back if you don't get to the bottom of it, the source, but you got withdrawals too on top of that shit. Especially if you don't fucking taper off of it, because then your body goes into shock, whatever, the drug is replacing, the body stops producing. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you stop using and you're in twice as much pain as you were to begin with, and you don't understand it, right? And fucking then you turn to drugs on the street because you gotta fucking, like, how can you even begin to think about healing or even get to the root source of the problem if you're in that much pain, right? And then people label you because of it, and that shit's for life, fucking people start looking down on you like, they're better and you're just like disgusting or some shit. And yeah, that's really inducive to healing. Fuck no, it's not. It's not inducive to healing. It makes it worse. It makes that pain worse. And then, so people just like start using drugs until they totally numb out. Fucking see that shit every day. Does that mean they're bad people? No. It means that fucking their people let them down. They didn't give them support and encouragement. They labeled them and judged them. It's fucked up. People use drugs as an excuse to be a piece of shit. But only piece of shits do that, Like, some people are just trying to heal and trying to put their life back together. And then as they do that, they notice that they don't need the help as much. And so, or they find another way to compensate, right? Or replace the drug, They put their heart into something constructive, And then before you know it, they're off drugs all by themselves, But society still judges them. Their family and friends still judge them. And they did that shit themselves. That's fucked up. That they're judged like so harshly for that. I mean, you would think that they should be rewarded for good. You know what I mean? Like, instead, and this is just what I see in my community, right? Because, I've lived in a few different communities throughout my life, and like some are better and some are worse, but like really wherever you go, there you are, and the same problems are everywhere. It's just, Some places seem more hopeless than others, but they're not. Nothing's hopeless. But, and there I went, losing my track of thought. See, like what I do, because I carry a lot of pain, and I also carry a lot of weight on my shoulders, because it's like what I told my kids, you know, it's when we have knowledge and strength, it's our duty to protect those and guide those weaker than us until they get strong or until they learn. And I take that very seriously, because I'm not a hypocrite. I won't preach it if I don't walk it. And I'm not going to tell my kids to do something if I'm not going to do it. It's a two-way street. There's no do as I say, not as I do. That's some bullshit right there. At the end of the day, people are going to watch how you act more than they're going to listen to what you have to say. And, you know, I started flipping sticks. I was down and out, and I was cold, and I just wanted a fucking cigarette. And I walked by this church, and it was this fucking big ass empty parking lot, and there was a sign that said something about God being plentiful. And I found it comical as fuck. And I found like half a cigarette butt next to a dumpster, and I also found a stick. So I picked it up and I started flipping it. And like, I don't know why I got into that. It was a way for me to like take all my anger and my sadness and channel it into something else where I could get all that frustration out without hurting anyone or anything. And I don't know, I got pretty good at it. But I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it too. A lot. Over the course of this past year. But the funny thing is like, I don't know, I get higher doing that than anything. And so that's what I do. And I listen to music, because music's very healing. And I remember the first time I saw music flow through those sticks. And I started to understand life a little bit more, I think. And the artists who write those songs, you can't write lyrics like that if you haven't been like through some shit in your life. If you haven't seen some shit, experienced some shit, there's no way. And it's a great way to reach people who are otherwise alone. Because when I had nobody, I had music. It's also a great way to fucking, you know, for people in positions of power to trick us as a society. Because it might have a bomb beat, but listen to the lyrics. Because sometimes something with a good beat like sends a really fucked up message, and you don't even notice, but you listen to it over and over and over again, and you know, your brain's like retaining that. That's my theory. I definitely pay attention to the songs that I listen to now a lot more than I used to, and the message being sent. I said it before and I'll say it again. Stop worrying about the rest of the world. Worry about what's at home. Worry about what is in your environment around you that you can control. You can't control the rest of the world. If everyone worries about their little niche in the world, then the world will fix itself. You know? Pay attention to the people that you surround yourself with, because I'm the type of person, I want to believe in everybody and in everything that they have to say. But unfortunately, just because somebody says something doesn't mean they're for you or about you. And they're just a fucking predator. And, you know, don't be afraid to talk to people you feel comfortable with if you feel like something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, go to someone you trust and respect. You know? Relatives are relative. Just because you're born in a specific environment to certain people doesn't mean that they're going to be about you. Family are those people that choose to be in your life and you choose to be in theirs, and you know they got you like you got them. No questions asked. Like, if something happens, you know that you can like go and talk to that person and get some like solid advice. You know, it's the people you look up to. That's why I love hanging out with old schoolers. Like, you know, the younger generation, don't get me wrong, they got fresh eyes and fresh ideas, but like, you know, old schoolers, they have a lot more life experience and they have a lot to give and teach. And you got to make up your own mind about what is sound advice and what you should probably, you know, respectfully hear, but, you know, maybe put aside. So, that being said, I don't know. Bad people are bad people. Good people are good people. Whether they do drugs or not. Everybody does drugs. Shocker. Nicotine, caffeine, fucking, you know, meth, heroin, weed, fucking all that shit that doctors prescribe you. God damn, everything's a drug. It's how you act. It's who you are. That's what matters.